Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Happy October. Hope you're having a great weekend. And today, I want to talk about a film that I just got to sit through not too long ago, maybe a couple of days ago before kind of the Halloween season rolled in. Usually in October, I like to try to watch horror movies as much as I can, especially ones I've never seen before. So this was right before that kind of happened for me. So I finally got to sit through the Netflix original Enola Holmes. So I know that there was a lot of mixed reviews about the film, things like Henry Cavill's Sherlock Holmes playing it. I'm not even gonna lie, when I first heard about it coming out, I was super excited about it, and I thought it was going to be a TV series. I didn't realize that it was an actual movie, so sitting through it was a lot of fun. It starts off really good. It really keeps the flow of the story going. There are a couple of little corny points, but of course, it's that kind of film. Like, you can't go into this film expecting the kind of Sherlock Holmes we got from Robert Downey Jr., or even the one we get from Cumberbatch. These aren't the same Sherlock Holmes, and we can't even expect a lot of Sherlock Holmes because this isn't even about him. And one of the weirder things is that this is a more modernized version of Sherlock Holmes, so you gotta go in there with that kind of mindset. From what I've been able to look into, the story of Enola Holmes only goes as far back as I think 2006. It's based on a novel series. I forget the writer's name off the top of my head now, but the writer of it was just kind of she was making a reimagination of the film series that involved the two brothers having a sister who, like, the stories from the original production of the books never talked about. So the actual story of Sherlock Holmes goes way back to the 1850s and the 1860s, leading up to different iterations, but that's where he originates from. And Enola Holmes only originates from this generation, from 2006 moving forward. I believe the most recent novel came out in 2018, so it's kind of like almost a fan fiction, in a way, storyline. And it has no history backing up from Sherlock Holmes' origins or following that whatsoever. But that doesn't go to say that it isn't still good or it isn't still worth sitting through. It is a very, very enjoyable film, and I think Millie Bobby Brown does a great job. She is the main actress who plays Enola Holmes, and of course everybody recognizes her from Stranger Things. And what nobody really realizes is that this is only her second movie. She's only had one other film, which is probably the only other feature film on her record, which is Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out last year. So besides Stranger Things and that movie, this is only her second movie or even third acting role in anything that's pretty much major. And it's not bad. It shows the kind of range she has. It shows that she is able to do things outside of the character of Stranger Things or even who she played in the Godzilla film. So this is definitely something that's going to show other people who might be looking to her to fill roles that she cannot be typecasted. And I like that because she's still young. She is very young in the game, and she is kind of growing. And this is a perfect film that could be a stepping stone for her into other roles. She's also on board for the Godzilla vs. Kong movie that's supposed to come out next year, so that'll be her third feature film. And I think if you look at her IMDb, she might have one or two other things, but again, she's only been acting since around 2013. She nailed the role of Stranger Things in 2016 and has been in it ever since for 3 seasons, and then only having 2 films. It's definitely a good track for her at such a young age to really grow into a very well-rounded actress. And this film isn't short of its own actors who she's working around that, you know, really give her some credit as well. Of course, you got Henry Cavill, who plays Sherlock Holmes, and he does a really good job of playing Sherlock Holmes. I won't deny that I didn't really like his portrayal too much in the film. Not to say that Henry Cavill doesn't play a good Sherlock, it's just how they wrote Sherlock for this story kind of annoyed me a little bit. I mean, I might be the only one about that. I know a lot of people said that the story was too much involved, or Sherlock Holmes was too much involved in the story, but to me, it's just, I feel like they could have did a better job with him. Like, he does play the character very well, but they kind of played down who Sherlock Holmes kind of is. And when you have so many portrayals of a character showing him one way, and then you have this, where it's kind of like, why is he like this? This isn't Sherlock Holmes. This isn't the Sherlock Holmes I'm used to. And granted, you know, this is somebody's vision. This is a vision based on the screenplay that was written, based on what the author had written, and based on how the director wanted to make it. So, however they envisioned it, that's fine by them. I just didn't like it too much. I feel like they kind of played down his character, and he should have had a little bit more of say the actual Sherlock Holmes undertones. Not to say that it's bad or it makes the movie bad. It's still a great movie. It's still a fantastic movie. It's just that I don't like them undercutting him like that. And then it's also the story of Mycroft Holmes, if that's how you say it, or Mycroft Holmes, however you pronounce that name. I had never heard about him either. But apparently, back in the 1850s and 1860s, he was a character in a lot of the Sherlock Holmes novels, being that it was true that Sherlock had a brother. So the two-brother concept is definitely way before this story ever came about, and I only think I've seen it portrayed once in Sherlock. I can't remember if it was in both Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr., but I do remember there being a brother of Sherlock in one of the films. At least one. I can't remember if it was both of them, but I know at least one of them, he had a brother in it. So, besides that, I never watched the Sherlock series with Benedict Cumberbatch, so I don't know if he was portrayed in there. So I am glad they kind of are bringing the family-esque story to film, because I do feel like there's more to that Sherlock Holmes character, and I do like that we're seeing more of that, especially when it comes to the mother, Eudora Holmes, who's played by Helena Bonham Carter. Helena Bonham Carter. I got it. So, and of course, we all know her from her immense acting skills in any Tim Burton film made in the last 15 years. Movies like Fight Club. Like, she's a veteran on this film. She's 100% the veteran. Though you don't see a lot of her, her presence is still kind of felt as the mother. And as you go through the story, you kind of want her to pop up more and more and more. And I mean, all around, it's a very good film. It's got a really, really good story. Where the story falls in line of what the era is based on, I don't know per se. You know, I'm not the biggest history buff. I do know that it's kind of weird to think about, you know, and not to go too much into the story if you haven't seen it yet. I do say you should watch it, but being that it's based on, like, the 1850s and the 1860s, I don't know how much of the story is era friendly, you know, or century friendly, you know, like, I'm not 100% sure how it was back then, but that might leave you with a little bit of a certain taste of what the film offers. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, maybe you don't care. Either way, I thought it was a good film. I thought it was well worth it. It does kind of leave off on an end that there should be more, and they will give us more, which is probably why I thought it was going to be a series, because once I looked into it and saw that, okay, there's like 9 books in this, you would think that maybe another Netflix original series would be more in line of what they would do, besides there being a film, and then the possibility of another film maybe next year or 2 years from now. Wherever they plan on going with this, I do hope there's more, and I won't even deny saying maybe they should make a spin-off with Henry Cavill as Sherlock. Maybe have both of them go side by side. I don't see why Henry Cavill would be against that. I don't even see why anybody else would be against that. I know I'm like a lot of people who want a third Sherlock Holmes with Robert Downey Jr. I know I'm not the only one in that boat, but whether or not we get that, Henry Cavill definitely does a good Sherlock Holmes, so getting him into that role would definitely be something I could see the future holding as being successful if they were to consider that. I don't know. I'm not one of the people in the Netflix production area. You know, I don't talk to any of these people. I can only throw ideas out there. Maybe somebody hears it. Maybe somebody's already thinking about it. Maybe the guy at Netflix, I know he's like super chill, so he's probably like, yeah, let's do as many Sherlock Holmes as we want. But maybe he doesn't care. I don't know. But this film is definitely good. It's definitely worth it. Despite what I have to say, or despite what anybody else has to say, it's a very enjoyable film. I don't know if you're like me and you're just going to be watching horror movies this month, but if you're not like that, or if you're not going to do that, I would definitely say maybe take some time, sit down with this film, however you want to see it. You want to take somebody's Netflix, you want to pirate it, whatever that is you do to watch movies. But it is a good film. It is worth sitting through. It is worth watching, and I definitely recommend it. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thank you again for listening. I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time.